We've reached that point in the history of cryptocurrencies where the legacy blockchain projects actually need to show some progress toward the world changing goals that were so seductive to all of us when we first learned about crypto. Unfortunately, that is going to require the accommodation of ever increasing complexity in these networks. We may already be seeing the first signs of the biggest legacy competitor chain cracking under the pressure, while Cardano was literally built to evolve into exactly this type of complex machine. Ready? Let's go. We are going to discuss this problem of complexity for our biggest competitor. We'll also talk about the first glimpses of MuesliSwap version 2, the Artifct NFT marketplace going live, and Ada signing a contract with a game development shop. If you are finding value in these videos each weekday, please consider delegating to the Army of Spies stake pool, ticker AOS. This is a very interesting thread from a core dev at Ethereum, but not just any dev. His LinkedIn says he's been in that position as a core developer at Ethereum since April of 2015. If anybody knows Ethereum, this is your guy. And what he had to say was probably pretty alarming and ominous sounding for the supporters of that blockchain. It starts out simple enough. He says complexity is an often overlooked aspect of a system because usually someone else is paying the price for it, not the person creating it. Already knowing that this is a core developer at Ethereum, you can guess that he's saying the core devs are paying the price for the complexity of the system. He says, but don't be mistaken, someone is paying the price, whether money, time, or mental capacity. They might not be willing or able to do it forever. Again, a little bit ominous already. He says, as with scalability, complexity also keeps trickling unseen up to the breaking point. At that time, it's already past the point of no return. Complexity also has the nasty effect of causing cascading failures. Overload people too much, lose capacity, leading to an even larger load. In Ethereum's history, complexity never decreased. Every EIP is piling on top. Every major change, 1559, merge, sharding, Verkle, stateless, L2, etc., is one more nail. I'm extremely frustrated when a research proposal says everything's figured out. It's just engineering now. As good as it feels that we're approaching the merge, I must emphasize that Ethereum is not going in a clean direction. Let me read that again. I must emphasize that Ethereum is not going in a clean direction. Tangentially, it's achieving results, but it's also piling complexity like there's no tomorrow. Here's the really ominous part. If the protocol doesn't get slimmer, it's not going to make it. I feel the root cause is the disconnect between the research and the dev teams. The former has to only dream up elegant standalone ideas. The latter needs to juggle every single idea that was ever introduced, whilst surgically expanding the dimensionality of the space. He says there have been engineering attempts to reduce the complexity, yet there was never an attempt to reduce the protocol complexity. We are already past the point of anyone having a full picture of the system. This is bad. He says, I can't say what the solution is, but my 2 cents is to stop adding features and start culling even at the expense of breaking things. So he's saying not only should Ethereum not continue adding features, but they need to start cutting out already existing features. They need to start culling. I take that to mean cutting out already existing features. He says there are less and less people knowing and willing to piece together a broken network, and each change pushes more away. Look at this little cartoon he posted. It shows, if you're just listening, you can't see this right now. It shows a guy in a business suit talking to a bunch of people kind of in a cave. It looks like it's maybe a cave. A bunch of people in sort of like threadbare, articles of clothing. And it says, yes, the network got destroyed, but for a beautiful moment in time, we created a lot of value for token holders. So this is extremely ominous. This is a person who may know Ethereum, the under the hood details, better than anyone else. Look at some of the reference he's making. He makes a reference to the network getting destroyed. He calls Ethereum a broken network. He says there are less and less people knowing and willing to piece together a broken network. So he's saying there are fewer and fewer people who can even do what he does. And he refers to it as a broken network that needs to be pieced together by people like him. He talks about culling features, not only not adding new features, which I think Ethereum is going to have to do to be competitive. They're going to have to add new features because blockchains like Cardano, we're going to be adding new features like crazy. And if they want to keep up, they're going to have to add new features. But he's saying his opinion is they can't even do that. And in fact, they need to start culling features, even at the expense of breaking things. And he can't say what the solution to all this is, but his input is we should actually start culling features. He also says we are already past the point of anyone having a full picture of the system. Very bad. And this to me was the most important part of this thread. He says if the protocol doesn't get slimmer, it's not going to make it. If you are an Ethereum supporter, this should be pretty scary because a person who really, really knows Ethereum is straight up saying if changes aren't made, Ethereum's not going to make it. On the other hand, we hear the exact opposite from developers building inside the Cardano ecosystem. Here's a very short 2-post thread from Got Me a Haskell. It's always interesting to me. It's always seemed to me like whenever someone has a lot of conceptual clarity about the position they're trying to express, they can do so in a very concise manner. It seems like brevity in a lot of cases is a hallmark of conceptual clarity. And I think we see that here. Got Me a Haskell says, people often wonder if Cardano made a mistake choosing Haskell. Here's what you must know. Blockchains and apps will have to evolve into unimaginable complexity beyond our current expectations. The way to effectively deal with complexity in software is compositionality. And he says, Haskell, which is a functional programming language, offers unmatched and beautiful compositionality. Charles and team were absolutely correct in their decision to choose a functional programming language such as Haskell. I think this is something we've always kind of known about. We've always known, hey, Ethereum was created in the early days of crypto. It's a legacy blockchain at this point, and it was a gigantic technical leap forward, worthy of a lot of applause. The Ethereum innovation is really important to the history of cryptocurrencies. But we've always known, everybody who was truly, truly familiar with smart contract blockchains, maybe not everyone, not the Ethereum supporters, but everyone else has always kind of echoed this same sentiment that Ethereum was going to have a hard time going forward because of the foundations on which it was built. There's too much there already for it to just instantaneously morph into the ultra complex machine it needs to be. The foundations, the sentiment expressed has always been, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to turn this plane in the air into an even more complex machine. How do you rebuild all of the components into this extremely complex thing while the plane is already in the air? We also got some news from MuesliSwap today. They posted a sneak peek of the new version 2 trading interface, including partial matches, testnet for V2 coming in the next few days. And then we've got this nice screenshot of the actual V2 trading interface. I like it. I think it looks great. You've got the last trades over here on the far right of the screen. Over on the left, you've got the buy and sell sides of the order book. You've got some charting right in the center. And I thought this was interesting. They left a wallet connected to the interface when they did this screenshot. And that wallet has an ADA handle of Panasonic. So what is this? Are they trying to signal something to us by leaving that? I don't know. I don't know that this could have been accidental. Are they trying to signal something to us, or is it just the case that somebody on the team grabbed the Panasonic handle and That's the one they were willing to, that person was holding, that they're willing to reveal in a screenshot. I don't know what this is. I thought it was interesting though. It seems like with the MuesliSwap team, where they've they've had some mysteries around their project, good ones, good mysteries. What is milk staking going to look like? What is your NFT market going to look like? What is your launchpad going to look like? They've always been good mysteries, but because they've had these mysteries, they've sort of created and remedied these little mysteries. I I have a hard time believing that this was just like accidental and that there's no significance to this. Maybe not, but I think it's interesting. On Friday, we also had the go live post from Artifct on their NFT marketplace. Quite a cool little art video they released along with it too. Check that out if you haven't seen it. When you go to their actual marketplace, here's what it looks like. They have a little featured category up here, and then they have 6 categories of NFTs: digital art, collectibles, photography, worlds, utility, and gaming. Then down below here, a top collections section, a trending section, and you, of course, know which one I was going to explore first, the worlds category, because that is going to be metaverse-based NFTs. And sure enough, top collections, click in here, and we see all of the metaverse projects we're very familiar with: Pavia, Cornucopias, Cardano Village, Artifact Moon, Ada Realm. And if we click into one of these NFT listings, this is what it looks like. Loading right now, looks like. Okay, loaded up. Seems like a good interface. Shows us kind of all the right information. I think it's great. I don't know how many NFT marketplaces we'll end up with in Cardano, but I think it's a sign of a good and thriving ecosystem that we don't have monopolistic players in these big use cases like NFT marketplaces. I think the competition is good and healthy, and I'm glad we have a bunch of NFT marketplaces kind of vying for the business within that use case. Speaking of metaverses, we also got some Ada Realm news today. Ada Realm said, "Good morning. On Friday, we've officially signed the contract with Actum Games, Actum.games, web link. Keep the fingers crossed for our partnership and be ready for the upcoming pitch and updates. Have a good Sunday." If we go to the website of Actum Games, they say, "We are a professional game development studio that is primarily focused on VR and mobile games. We create not only our own titles, but we also work on commissioned projects outside of the VR world." And we can see one of their big games is this Pets VR game. And it looks like we've got some in-game footage right here. I like this trend. I like Cardano metaverse projects teaming up with gaming studios, because what is gaming if not the creation of virtual worlds? The gaming industry, I mean, what they do is create virtual worlds. True, they're not living on something like a blockchain that's, has a potential for interoperability and all of these things that we want sort of the crypto metaverses to be one day. The big gaming studios don't want you using your ADA handle that you own with their games. They want you to buy that from them. It's all sort of like centralized, and all the things with the legacy world that we're trying to solve. I think video games today kind of embody a lot of those things. So it's going to be interesting to see this sort of intersection of the gaming world and the metaverse world. And obviously we've got some really good metaverse projects within the Cardano ecosystem. So watching them sort of evolve into what they're going to be, I think is going to be a really interesting thing for our ecosystem. I hope you are starting out a great week, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.